Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Leah, and we're going to be teaching you Queen's English.
Queen's English is also known as BBC English.
Or Public School Pronunciation,
PSP. Or RP, which stands for Received Pronunciation.
Some people might say that RP is old-fashioned, so we're going to be talking you through what we call contemporary RP, which is a bit like how we speak naturally.
So the first thing we're going to talk you through is a long A vowel. So you've got the R sound rather than the A sound. So talk them through it.
Okay, so for instance, here's a sentence. In the past, a daft dance with a crafty laugh was a lasting drama. So
There was a lot of R's.
lots of R. Path, bath, dance,
Last.
glass.
Yes. So the way to make the sound is you need a long, big space in the back of your mouth. So when you say bath, your tongue goes flat to the bottom of your mouth and you make a big sort of cavity in your mouth.
For example, bath. Brilliant. That was a really good example, Joel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Linguistic student.
That's true.
That is true.
So the next vowel sound that we're going to cover is the or cover.
Oh. It's the noise you make when someone's done something bad and you're like, oh. So this vowel is actually particularly hard for Americans, I've heard, because they obviously say something like the appallingly naughty daughter rather than the appallingly naughty daughter.
Was caught by the law. Don't stress it too much.
Yeah.
The appallingly naughty daughter was caught by the law.
Yeah. Like a good way to learn accents is by making it really exaggerated to begin with, but make sure you then pull back off it, because British people will know that you're not British if you are really emphasising it. The appallingly naughty daughter.
You don't want to do that.
You just want to go, the appallingly naughty daughter.
Was caught by the law.
Exactly. So how do we describe something appallingly? So when you do the sound, your lips sort of round when you say it, so the appallingly naughty daughter.
And quite forward.
Your tongue stays at the bottom of your mouth, so the appallingly naughty daughter. Yeah, and the sound is quite far to the front of your mouth rather than at the back.
Moving on. Lark.
Wait, so,
It might
you
get
say
wrong.
that lark of tart is bad manners.
That's bad.
That's so funny.
Bad English. Actually makes me mad.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're teaching yourself the RP accent, you don't want to mix up the R with the short A, which is a lack of tact is bad manners and actually makes me mad.
Not a lark of tart is bad manners and actually marks me mad.
It can be really easy to trip over things like that.
Yeah.
So you don't want to make it up. How do you know? You just know though, don't you?
You just know. Just use your common sense.
If it sounds wrong, it probably is.
Yeah. So the next sound is a short sound, which actually, nice little fact here, people in the north of England, they have one less vowel sound than southerners, and they don't have this one.
Okay.
So bunch or up, they don't have the sound, they say and so we have one more vowel than northerners.
Or southerners make it more of an a. The
There's
bunch,
they just don't have this vowel at all in any words.
A bunch of 100 monks shunned the fun of the summer sun.
So, whereas sort of if you're in the north of England, you'd say something like a bunch of 100 monks shunned the fun of the summer sun.
Yeah,
if you're from Yorkshire.
I could do that in northern.
Yeah, go on then.
A bunch of 100 monks shunned the fun of the summer sun.
There we go. She's from the Midlands, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'd say that's quite Midlands. A bunch. Can I get a bunch of flowers? Yeah, so I would hear that.
Yeah. While Leah's accent does sound quite southern, she is from the Midlands, so occasionally you have the
I have some
northernisms,
short A's.
Yeah.
I'm a mix, but because I've lived down here a while, I can quite easily be a chameleon.
Definitely. Whereas I'm just a southerner through and through.
Through and through.
As far south as you can get in England.
Right
on the sea.
The short U is one to remember.
Yeah.
Sun, mum, begun. La la la. Improvisation.
So another thing to note particularly with a southern RP accent is that it's non-rhotic, which means we don't pronounce our R's in the way that lots of other people do. So by saying car, we say car.
Car.
So it's just an R sound rather than an R.
Yeah, we don't really, we're very non-rhotic.
Very. But see, in very, we do say it, so it's a weird thing. You have it sort of in the middle of a word if it's very, because we can't say very.
That's amazing! That's
very nice. That's
so
very
funny.
nice, but we'd say car. That's a very nice car, but we wouldn't say that's a very nice car. Or that's a very nice car. We wouldn't say
We wouldn't. That would be such a giveaway.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, where are you from?
So just make your tongue lazy. We have lazy tongues. Americans peel their tongues all the way back to say R, but we don't. So our tongues are lazy.
Bear.
Yeah.
Bear.
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 What else?
Say that one.
We glared at the rare, fair-haired bear in his lair.
Amazing. The schwa is a word for the noise you make. So the way you write it in phonetics is it's an upside down E, and so it's pronounced and so you'd say things like an attempt to adjust. So attempt to adjust.
Rather than?
Attempt. Adjust.
So we've just touched on the very basics of the RP accent. Some tips that we'd have overall if you're trying to teach yourself this accent is don't focus too much, don't put too much weight on the vowels. Focus your muscular energy into the consonants. Yeah,
we're a very consonant heavy accent, so we're very clipped and we're very precise.
However, we are contemporary RP, that's what we're speaking, so whereas we're not clipping our T's because we don't speak to each other like that if we pick up the phone.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
Not, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But in certain words we would, so we would say water, we wouldn't say water. That's a feature of like a London accent or
RP.
You know, but water is RP.
Can I have some water, please?
But we wouldn't pronounce the T in. What are you doing tonight? We wouldn't say that. We'd say, what are you doing tonight?
Good point to make is that traditional RP wouldn't really lower the jaw that much, so it would be quite here.
Tight. They would just talk like this. They wouldn't really move their jaw at all, just the lips.
Hence where the stiff upper lip thing comes from.
Yeah. Whereas contemporary RP, we don't do that. We have a nice loose jaw.
Loosey-goosey. Dropping. Focus on dropping the jaw.
Yes, elongating.
Elongating, darling.
On a similar note, the lips should be flexible and moving rather than traditional RP where they don't really move anything, like we've just said about the jaw. Yeah, so lips moving and jaw loose.
Focus on freeing and maybe stand up and just go, oh.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
So we hope you've enjoyed this video, we hope you've learned something. We did just touch on the basics.
Yep, that's not everything. If you want a more detailed thing, let us know in the comments below because we could always do it again. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe. We post videos every single week.
Give us a thumbs up as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.